Hello MotoGP fans. Welcome back to ZNGP Today. Before the lights go out for the Thai Grand Prix, MotoGP faces its final and most decisive preseason exam. 2 crucial days of testing in Buriram could shape the early balance of power in 2026. Big news from the MotoGP paddock. After months of recovery and uncertainty, Jorge Martín has officially received medical clearance and is set to return to action in Buriram. Aprilia arrives in Buriram with momentum, and with a long list of new components to evaluate. On the eve of the final preseason test, Bezzecchi made it clear, these 2 days in Thailand will be anything but simple. Pedro Acosta has already landed in Thailand, and his message ahead of the season opener is clear and realistic. The KTM rider knows the competition is fierce, and survival could be the first objective. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. On February 21st and 22nd, the grid heads to the Chang International Circuit for the final official test before the championship opener. 1 week later, the same venue will host the season's first Grand Prix. That timing is no coincidence. Teams will fine-tune their base setups under Rio race weekend conditions, temperature, grip levels, and long-run simulations included. Aerodynamic packages, engine specifications, ride height systems. Every decision made here could influence the first stretch of the championship. Once again, Ducati arrives as the reference point. The Decisive continues to set the standard, even if engineers in Borgo Panigale are still evaluating final aerodynamic options. All eyes remain on Marc Marquez, widely considered one of the top title contenders heading into 2026. But early testing produced a surprise. It was Alex Marquez who topped initial sessions with factory-level equipment, showing impressive one-lap pace. Marc responded strongly in Sepang, but consistency over race distance will be the true indicator in Buriram's heat. Aprilia Racing continues to show steady progress, particularly with Marco Bezzecchi adapting quickly to the RSGP. The Italian manufacturer aims to confirm whether its improvements hold up across full race simulations. Meanwhile, Honda brings visible upgrades, hoping to validate winter development and re-establish competitiveness after difficult seasons. At KTM, optimism grew after promising flashes from Maverick Vinales during earlier tests. The message is clear across the grid: no manufacturer sees this as a transition year, even with regulatory changes looming on the horizon. For Yamaha, expectations are more measured. The focus remains on mileage, stability, and incremental gains rather than headline lap times. While rivals chase performance peaks, Yamaha continues rebuilding its base package, seeking consistency before outright speed. In Buriram's demanding conditions, data collection could prove just as important as chasing the top of the timesheets. Testing may not award points, but it sets the tone. Ducati wants to reaffirm control. Aprilia looks to confirm progress. Honda and KTM chase their breakthrough. Yamaha builds methodically. When the Thai Grand Prix begins on February 27th, experimentation ends. What happens over these 2 days in Buriram could quietly define the opening chapter of MotoGP 2026. After a 2025 season heavily disrupted by injuries, Jorge Martín is officially back. The reigning 2024 MotoGP World Champion passed his final medical evaluation at the Chang International Circuit and has been cleared to participate in Aprilia's final preseason test on February 21st and 22nd. The Spanish rider underwent 2 revision surgeries, one on his left scaphoid and another on his right clavicle, injuries accumulated during a physically punishing campaign. Months away from competition followed, leaving questions about his readiness for 2026. "I feel good, much better." Although cleared to ride, Martín openly admits that his physical preparation is still progressing. "The bones have healed completely, but strength and mobility are still being rebuilt after months off the bike. He emphasized that structural healing was the priority before pushing performance limits again. Maybe 90%. That honest assessment reflects both caution and confidence. With his skeletal injuries fully resolved, the focus now shifts toward regaining race fitness and competitive sharpness ahead of the season opener. Martín has already completed initial laps in Spain before arriving in Thailand, reacquainting himself with the Aprilia Racing RSGP 26. His early impressions were positive, and the priority in Buriram will not be aggressive development testing, but adaptation. He made it clear that jumping straight into heavy component testing would not benefit either himself or the factory. Instead, the plan is simple: accumulate laps, rebuild rhythm, and reconnect with the bike's sensations. It seems I haven't forgotten how to ride a motorcycle. Beyond his physical condition, Martín also addressed upcoming calendar changes. The removal of Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit, one of the grid's most iconic venues, disappointed him deeply, while the introduction of a new street circuit in Adelaide sparked curiosity. When speaking about his favorite venue, his answer was immediate. "It's my favorite." He was referring to Phillip Island, a circuit he considers the best on the calendar. At the same time, he praised Mandalika International Street Circuit, highlighting its atmosphere and unique race weekend experience. When asked about his contractual future and potential strategic shifts within the paddock, Martín remained cautious but acknowledged the speed at which negotiations evolve in MotoGP. He made it clear that timing is everything and that movements by one rider can trigger a chain reaction throughout the grid. "Everything is moving very quickly." Jorge Martín's return is a major boost for Aprilia and for the championship as a whole. Alongside Marco Bezzecchi, Aprilia will finally field its full lineup in preseason testing. If his recovery continues on this trajectory, the 2024 champion could begin 2026 not just healed, but hungry. And in MotoGP, that combination can be dangerous. The final preseason test at the Chang International Circuit is about to begin, and Aprilia Racing is arriving with one of the busiest development programs on the grid. After introducing multiple aerodynamic solutions during the Sepang test, the Noali factory has continued working intensively. New components, refinements, and setup solutions are ready to be evaluated over just 2 days, a tight window before the season opener. It will be a very demanding test, with many things to try. That was the clear warning from Marco Bezzecchi, who expects an intense schedule balancing development work with race weekend preparation. With major regulation changes set for 2027, some believed 2026 would serve as a transitional year. But inside Aprilia, that mindset simply doesn't exist. Bezzecchi emphasized that competitiveness cannot be postponed, even with sweeping rule changes on the horizon. Every season must be approached with maximum commitment. We have to approach each season as if it were our last. That philosophy explains the volume of innovation seen on the RSGP. The factory continues to push development across aerodynamics, chassis balance, and overall package refinement, refusing to slow momentum. When asked where the RSGP needs improvement, Bezzecchi avoided pointing to a single weak area. Instead, he highlighted the reality of modern MotoGP, where the differences are measured in tenths and details. The competition level remains exceptionally high, and marginal gains across multiple areas can determine podium positions. We need to improve a little in every area. The objective in Buriram will therefore be holistic, not chasing one breakthrough, but refining the entire package incrementally. Beyond testing, Bezzecchi also commented on the upcoming calendar changes, notably the departure of the iconic Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit after this season. The Australian Grand Prix will move to a new street circuit in Adelaide, a decision that has generated mixed reactions within the paddock. "I'm sure they'll take all the necessary precautions." While acknowledging the inherent risks of street circuits, Bezzecchi expressed trust in safety measures and organizational planning. Aprilia's workload in Buriram reflects ambition, not caution. With innovation continuing despite looming rule changes, the message is clear: the fight for 2026 starts now. For Bezzecchi and Aprilia, these 2 days won't just finalize preseason testing, they could define the foundation of their entire campaign. Pedro Acosta approaches 2026 with maturity beyond his years. The KTM factory racing rider is not looking too far ahead. Instead, he is building his season step by step. After productive testing in Malaysia, Acosta believes the time has come to stop experimenting and start focusing purely on performance metrics, speed, consistency, and time attack simulations. Now is perhaps the time to simply generate speed, set good paces, put in good time attacks, and see where we stand in the end. The objective in Buriram is clear: establish a competitive baseline before the championship begins. The first race at the Chang International Circuit brings specific concerns for KTM. Last season, rear tire degradation created major difficulties for the Austrian manufacturer in hot conditions. Acosta has not forgotten that experience, and he knows the challenge could repeat itself in similar weather conditions. Last year we suffered a lot with the KTM to finish the race on the rear tire. Managing tire wear over race distance will once again be a key factor if KTM hopes to stay within striking distance of the leaders. When analyzing the competitive landscape, Acosta did not hesitate. Ducati and Aprilia Racing appear to have a clear advantage heading into the opening round. The Malaysian test results showed Ducati's strength and depth, while Aprilia's progress, especially with the return of Jorge Martín, signals a serious step forward. Ducati and Aprilia are leading the championship right now. Acosta recognizes the reality. Closing that gap will require consistency, precision, and smart race management. Despite the challenge, Acosta remains strategic. The championship is long, and the goal is to build momentum rather than force results prematurely. With Brazil already on his radar as the second target, the priority in Thailand is damage limitation and smart execution. Last year's podium at Buriram was entirely Ducati-controlled, underlining how competitive the Italian bikes remain at this venue. We have to be realistic for this GP, try to survive and arrive in Brazil in the best possible shape. It's not a defeatist mindset, it's calculated realism. Survive the opener, gather points, and prepare for circuits that may better suit KTM's strengths. A demanding start ahead. Anchor: Pedro Acosta's tone is measured but determined. He understands the hierarchy, respects Ducati and Aprilia's current form, and knows KTM must improve in key areas. The 2026 season begins under pressure, and in Thailand, survival could be the first victory. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today, and this is your MotoGP news update. And see you next time!